real quick. And yeah, this is and we have had 107 guest speakers. We are at 352 members who have landed jobs through AHF. We just went over one with Jenny. And we are now at 2,900 members on LinkedIn and counting. We are approaching 3K. That's awesome. Congratulations, everybody. Man, we're almost at 3K. That's incredible. With that said, I would like to introduce everybody to Danielle Schulz. And you know what? I think I've been rattling on too much, so I'm just going to let her take the floor. She's a lovely woman. She has a really peculiar and specialized interest in field work, and she has some great insights on how to aid everybody in something that we don't cover that often, which is what to do in between the time that you're employed in between the time that you find yourself unemployed and find yourself getting employed, which is dealing with the stress of being unemployed. And then you can take those tools and translate them into the times when you are employed and those stressors still seem to be there, because stress not only comes from not having work, but it also comes from having work, and bills always have to be paid. So without further ado, Danielle, I will let you have at it. God bless you and welcome.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And while we're getting set up, if you wouldn't mind writing in the chat if you did the brain dump. And if this is news to you and you joined a little bit late, what we were doing just moments before it started was this idea of feeling maybe overwhelmed at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. People were writing down all the things that were weighing them down and on their minds, and just giving yourself a couple minutes to write everything down. And then once you're done, you could throw it out or light it on fire. We invite you to do so. So welcome everyone. I am Danielle Schulz. This is Nervous System Recovery Methods. This is one of a 5-part series in which we're going to talk about ways in which we could use breath and movement to deactivate stress and find a little bit more control in our lives. Give you a little bit of background. I am a former professional dancer. I spent 10 years at the Metropolitan Opera. Movement has been my life and my joy. And now I run a team performance company in which we bring movement and connection into the workplace. Because when we move better, we feel better. And when we feel better, we perform better. I have been featured in Entrepreneur and Business Insider. And if anything, it's more about career transitions than any success. So happy to chat more afterwards about career transitions and putting together maybe a unique set of skill sets in order to build your next chapter and or identity. So I want you to maybe take a moment and in the chat, share how you're feeling right now. For this expression, you name it to tame it. So go ahead using this scale of 1 to 3. If you feel like you're running on empty, if you feel a little bit tired, maybe you're feeling energized and present. If you wouldn't mind just dropping that into the chat right now. And Adam, what are some of the numbers that we are seeing?
Adam, you're muted. Of course, we see some 6s, some 5s. You see some 4s.
Okay. All right.
A lot of 6s, yeah.
Okay. All right.
See some 5s, quite a few 5s.
All right. No 1s or 2. That's fantastic. Part 2 is, where do you feel maybe that fatigue or that tightness in your body? Maybe it's your shoulders, maybe it's your jaw. Maybe drop that into the chat as well.
Saying a lot of shoulders.
Oh, everybody, yes. They say we hold our issues in our tissues.
Yep. I see 1 feet.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
I see a
All right.
I know it was clumsily phrased, 1 feet, but
we knew what you meant. So again, just kind of identifying where you are energetically and maybe where you are holding stress and tension as well. Step 1. So to give you a little bit of an overview, I think okay, perfect. Yeah, there was a little bit of feedback. So we're actually going to give you an overview of the nervous system. So we basically have our sympathetic nervous system and our parasympathetic nervous system. If you've heard of this or these concepts, if you wouldn't mind just putting a yes in the chat. And if you are new to this, that is okay as well. Maybe some familiarity, just give me a thumbs up. All right, excellent. So this is also known as our fight or flight method. So our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight method that when you encounter something stressful, that your hormones kick in, that's where you have your adrenaline and your dopamine, and you feel it literally in your body. And then the parasympathetic portion is going to be your rest and recovery. And the two need to be in balance in order to have homeostasis. And the reason why we have these systems built into our body is a survival mechanism. So years and years ago, when we weren't in apartments and houses, we maybe had to outrun a bear. And then when you'd see a bear and then you'd have to outrun the bear, your sympathetic nervous system would kick in and that you would get this shot of adrenaline and you would run for your life and that you would feel this flood of hormones that would try to keep you alive. And then afterwards, hopefully you successfully outran the bear. And then your parasympathetic nervous system would kick in, that rest and recovery, and you could calm down and you could enjoy, and then you could come back to your regular state. The problem now in this day and age is that we are stuck in the sympathetic nervous system state. We are constantly stressed. We constantly have these pings and dings, and we rarely activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And if you go too long in this stressed out state, it isn't good for your mood or for your hormones, but long term, your cells never have the ability to recover. And that actually leads to chronic disease and illness. So yes, it is okay to get your sympathetic nervous system going, but if you don't activate the parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to feel in disarray and unbalanced. Any questions so far? No? All right, so spot the signals. We feel it physically, even in the very beginning. Hopefully nobody is being chased by a bear, but people are saying that they felt this tension in their neck and their shoulders. You may feel it as grinding teeth, any teeth grinders, maybe when you sleep, tight neck or shoulders. Some people, they feel it in their feet. Shallow breathing, chest breathing. Some people feel it in their intestines, and then some people get really snippy or irritable, maybe even around the people who they love the most. So we're actually going, yes, we're all guilty of that. So we're actually going to take a moment and we are going to turn away from technology. So you could move your chair, again, look away from the screen. Looking away from the screen is actually just an easy way to calm your nervous system. So you could close your eyes or maybe find a single point, maybe sit to the edge of your chair. Just acknowledge where there may be tension. Just giving yourself a moment to let go of where you're gripping, maybe in your feet or your ankles. You feel it in your hips, your low back. You feel it in the space between your shoulder blades. Maybe in your fingers or down your arms. You may even feel it at the top of your head or behind your eyeballs. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. You can come back to the screen. And if you want to write in the chat, maybe any places that surprised you where you're holding on to tension, hopefully unnecessarily. Anything, Adam?
Face.
Face. Oh my gosh, absolutely. A lot of people will say hips, and I'll say hips don't lie. Shakira had it right all along.
Running down their back too. That's another one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to move on to a little bit of breath work. In yoga, this is called pranayama, but it's often this way that if you feel out of control, the easiest and fastest way in order to gain control is to control your breathing. So it's this idea that you could change your breath and you could change your state in literally 60 seconds, in less than a minute. This is a very easy way to tap in and to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, especially if you're feeling tight in the body, and really emphasizing the exhale. The power in order to regain control is in the exhale. It allows us to have our cortisol drop. If you're ever feeling overwhelmed up here where all the people live, our Mad Hatter reference that we were talking about earlier, this is a way in order to have clarity so you can move on and do better work. So we're going to do 2 breathing techniques. The first one is the physiological sigh. And this is not rocket science by any means, but it was developed and researched at Stanford University. So we're actually going to practice this all together. And again, I encourage you to maybe look away from the screen just to give yourself a little bit of a visual break. Wherever you are in the breath, exhale completely. Taking a nice deep inhale through the nose. Holding it at the top, taking one more sip of air, and on your exhale, letting it all go. And do that 2 more times. And on the exhale, I actually encourage you to let go and maybe even have an audible sigh and an HA, ha. Feel the vibrations, it feels really nice. So go ahead, exhale, round 2. Inhale through the nose. Holding it at the top, taking one more sip of air. Exhale, letting it all go. One last time, deeper, richer. Inhale through the nose. Holding it at the top. One more sip of air. And exhale, let it all go. Let go of all that baggage that you don't need going into the weekend. Coming back to the screen. Any observations or insights, you could put it into the chat.
I think everybody's still breathing. Carlo said I needed that.
And again, this is something free and it is at your disposal. One thing that is really cool too about the breath work is that it's really one of the only systems in the body that we can control. Can't necessarily control our cardiovascular system, our endocrine system, our digestive system, but the breath is really cool because you don't have to tell yourself to breathe. Your body will do it. At the same time, when you're feeling out of control, you can control your breath and the quality of your breath. Number 2 that we're going to do is rectangle breathing. So you may have heard of box breathing. Box breathing is something that the Navy SEALs will use in their training in order to regain focus, in order to activate their parasympathetic nervous system in incredibly stressful situations. If you are new to this, some people don't like holding their breath for that long. So we're going to take a variation. This is going to be a cousin of box breathing called rectangle breathing. So we're going to do this a few rounds all together, in which we're going to exhale for 4 counts, hold for 2 counts, inhale for 4 counts, and hold again for 2 counts. So let's go ahead. Again, I invite you to turn away from technology, closing your eyes. You can move to the edge of your seat, kind of helps your posture. Also, sitting back in your seat and resting can help activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So go ahead, closing your eyes. And we're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2. Inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2. Again, inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, inhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. Exhale 2, 3, 4. Hold 2. No rush. So when you're ready, you could return back to the screen. Any thoughts on technique number 2?
None yet. Well, that's the fitness dance of our lungs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think everybody
Also
else is still
really
breathing
good.
and feeling good.
Yeah, I was gonna say also really good for scuba diving as well for those who are really considering a career change. I know that's definitely crossed my mind. Aman, I believe you raised your hand.
Yeah, I just want to make a comment. It's very interesting how this technique is called rectangular breathing. Didn't know there was a name.
I have to admit, I made it up just because after holding these
nice.
sessions, yes, just because some people, they would do box breathing, and there is value in really learning how to control your breath. But if you are new to breath work, rectangle breathing is just a little bit more accessible and not quite as stress inducing holding the breath. And then, oh yes, go ahead.
No, I love how you mentioned about I heard about this breathing technique before, that the military uses this for like being relaxed in high stressful situations. This is I actually researched that after I watched a great movie. I think it was American Sniper was the name of it, where like they was trained like in the military. They're trained to like different breathing techniques in high stress situations and stuff. So super cool.
Yeah. And again, it's accessible and it is free and takes 0 tools, and you could do it before interviews, um, stressful conversations, or even after interviews. If you feel like, what happened? I have no idea what happened. Coming back to the breath, it could be used as an anchor. And actually, I would love to hear from you in the chat between rectangle breathing and the physiological sigh. Which one did you like more?
Come on, chat. Let's liven up a little bit. I'm seeing rectangle.
Okay, all right. Yeah, what works for one doesn't work for the other. So this is what now where I'm all going to make you do ballet. I'm not going to do that, but we are going to talk about movement. Movement is medicine. Sometimes when we are stressed, we don't need to think it out, but we need to move it out. So again, these are all tools. You have resources available, whether it's taking a yoga class on YouTube or any type of stretching. Going for a walk outside. We were conducting some research, and most people, something like 53% of people, already use movement as a way to reset and refocus during the day. I mentioned shaking and free movements. Apparently, animals, after a really stressful situation, they shake, and that is a way for them to literally shake it off. Taylor Swift had it right all along, in order to move on and to recalibrate. And last but not least, massage and recovery tools. Yes, it is nice to get a massage, but we can't always get a massage. But luckily, foam rollers or massage guns or lacrosse balls are great, inexpensive, accessible tools that you can use. So real quickly, just to say that we moved today, I always invite you to stand up. I want you just to kind of shake out your hands, shake out your legs, kind of move in any way that feels organic for you. And just to open up the shoulders, placing the fingertips onto the shoulders. Yes, Adam's got it right. Again, finding mobility. Nice. Carlo's ready. Good. Excellent. And then opposite direction. Yes, I was going to say neck circles in one direction, then the other. And even just having the ear go from side to side, half circle. If you're on interviews or in future meetings, kind of like rolling out your ankles at your desk, or standing up for a moment, again, shaking it out, or you see kids maybe at the school bus, like flopping from side to side with their arms. These are all options for you at your disposal. So I could talk about movement all day, every day, but let's go ahead and move on. I want you to take 1 minute and now think about ways that realistically you can activate your parasympathetic nervous system. What resonates for you? Something I mentioned doesn't resonate, go ahead, throw it out the window, but just take that pen and paper for just a moment and realistically commit to maybe 1 or 3 of these methods in order to help calm your nervous system. We talked about music earlier, anything creative. Hosted a group yesterday that was all about prioritizing sleep and sleep strategies. I could talk about sleep all day as well. And then I would love for you just to share, we're not going to go into breakout rooms, but in the chat right now, making a commitment. This is about accountability. What can you do more of, and what can you weave into your day? You can also unmute yourself as well. Since I can't see the chat, I would love to see what people are sharing, or I would love to hear what people are sharing.
Anybody want to share on the mic? Or I see Kale has written music and audiobooks here, yard work, believe it or not. Yard work is very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Making the weeds go away is very relaxing. So
I completely agree. It's almost like popping pimples.
exactly. It's like that weed is now gone, Yep.
Yep. Anybody else?
I like popping
Well, if
pimples too.
somebody's, I do meta meditation, which I don't know if you know what that is at all.
Don't.
Okay,
No,
so
tell
it's
me
also
more.
called loving. Okay, it's basically loving kindness meditation.
Okay, I do know
What
that.
you
Yeah.
do is you focus on, feeling compassion for other people, and loving, even extending kindness even to people you may not like, which I find it helps cultivate a mindset that's much less stressful when you're out and with the way social media and everything just triggers you and goes out of its way to make you angry. It cultivates the opposite mindset, which I find provides a good counterbalance.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So the love and kindness meditation, or even just like a gratitude, I don't even want to use the word meditation, but like a gratitude, thoughtful moment. You can't be stressed while you are evoking a sense of gratitude. It literally cancels it out.
Correct.
Yeah. Gratitude, contemplation, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yes, I know. I sometimes mention in meditation, and people are like, "No, I don't meditate." But there's different terminology for it. But I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and you can find love and kindness meditations across many different platforms. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
Aman, I see you have something you want to say.
This one is what I've been doing. Actually, beginning of this year, it can help the audience, but it's called calisthenics. So kind of using kind of like you're lifting weights, but instead of physical weights, you're, I guess, technically propelling yourself or doing body weight exercises with yourself as the weight.
Yes,
we
yeah.
could all hold it. We could all hold a plank right now. I'm not going to make you do that, but sometimes it's just like a good way to get out of your head and into your body. It's just holding a plank and you did something and boom, reset.
Yeah, and it's so readily accessible too. You can do it in your room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yes.
The thing that comes to mind for me is listening to music, classical music, and then the other one is invoking a picture of me sitting on the rock looking over Jenny Lake at Yellowstone, or actually the Grand Tetons.
That sounds beautiful.
Imagery is powerful.
Yeah.
Michael, thank you. Anybody else? These are great.
Anybody else? I'm not seeing it. There we go. Parvati?
Yeah, I used to meditate and practice yoga regularly. That really helps. Uh, I encourage everyone to do whenever get chance. I really like it. Also, going to beaches, I really feel a different energy and um, yeah, it's a different experience. Everybody knows. Just want to share.
No, Parvati,
Well,
you're
thank
so
you.
right. Even just looking at water, beaches, lakes, rivers, like instantly calms people down by something like 40%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Anybody else? Carlo.
Carlo.
So I actually, well, you can't make this up. I actually mentioned this at the start of the meeting to Daniela and Adam that something I heard is that like watching fire. This is something brand new that I got into. Like the like, it's relaxing and it also like sparks like creativity from me. So that's something I've been doing, and what I'm trying to do more of is like breathing, and also like during the week when you're like work. I do a lot of work from home, so I don't really have the chance to like get up and move around. So I think if I could do that more often, I'll be like more relaxed. Like go for like a walk or for like 10 minutes or something like that. I think it'll go a very long way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? Going once, twice. All right, you're good to go. Oh, wait, hold on. Nicole?
Nicole, yeah.
Yeah.
The question was the third one.
I think we're just kind of having a general discussion right now, but like would love to hear, we checked in with our energy level, just kind of in the course of 20 minutes, doing a little bit of breath work, a little bit of breathing, a little bit of maybe pen to paper or communicating. How has your energy level shifted in just 20 minutes? I would love to hear from you, Nicole, if you want to share, also in the chat.
I just got off work, so I've been on. I didn't really have to do anything for the last bit of the day, so I was on this call. I feel really tired because I didn't sleep well last night, but because I have a headache right now. But I'm gonna try to get some rest tonight, and hopefully I get a nap in when I get home. Hopefully, if not tonight, for sure. But I feel kind of restless because I didn't sleep well last night. But yeah.
Well, hopefully this was helpful for you and you can take it with you home so that can prepare you for a nice, restful evening that can be fulfilling. Thank you, Nicole. Is there anybody else? All right, Danielle, you can go ahead.
All right. If these subject matters interest you, I want to leave you with two resources. There is Breath by James Nestor. It is fabulous. It is a bestseller. I never thought that a book about breath would be a page turner. I promise it is not boring. It is fascinating, and you will totally jump on the breathing bandwagon. Another one, it's a little bit heavier. The Body Keeps the Score, but just this idea, we hold our issues in our tissues. It's a fascinating read, but just be mindful of your headspace when you do read it. But Breath, very accessible.
That's an incredible book. It's huge.
It is huge and heavy, but it is powerful. And sometimes snippets are the way to go.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you were
book.
here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you do have that book. Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me. I will hang out for a few minutes to answer any questions about what we went over about performance, identity shifts, and career shifts. I'm going to drop a link tree in the chat as soon as I stop sharing. It's a way to stay in touch I am a bootstrap small business. If this is something when it comes to workplace wellness, team performance, that you could maybe bring into a former workplace, or you have friends in HR, people ops, leadership, and or learning and development, we always provide a $500 referral fee for booked annual programs. So something to keep in mind as well.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Danielle. That was an incredible presentation. Round of applause, big hugs from AHF members and volunteers. Since I've been here, that's been the most unique presentation and the most immediately useful. And I've been jotting down copious notes to make sure that I can take away as much as possible from this so I can start applying it immediately. Because I was telling Danielle that there are two kinds of weeks that I have. I have a week that's either just goes by quick and I feel like I got nothing done. And even if I find that I have a checklist I can look back on and consult and prove that no, in fact, I did get a lot done, I feel like I've gotten nothing done. And I have to find a way to work out of that feeling. Or it's a long and lugubrious week and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to end. And on those particularly, that's when I can apply a lot of these techniques, especially the breathing ones, and just sort of the loosening up, because after the breathing and after the loosening up, I did feel better. And I hope all of you felt the same and will take this with you, and that you can employ it in a manner that is indeed refreshing, reinvigorating, and of course, useful for many years to come. So now we're going to jump into, I have to always start over with this, jump into the Q&A question, the Q&As. All I ask